All right, folks, welcome to the webinar today. How many have we got here? We've got 7 live already. How are people going today over there, wherever you are in the world? In fact, where are you in the world? If you want to just leave me a quick note on the chat, let me know where you are in the world. Who have we got on the webinar today? We've got 11 of you in the room, which is great so far. So we're going to build a profitable RSI MT4 EA in 5 minutes today. So I can't wait to show you guys this. I'm really excited about getting this out there. A bit about me. So if you don't know me, if you've not been on the 52 Traders podcast and sort of follow my story, which is really where my story is, then I'm based in New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand, the little green dot there on the screen. It's a very windy place. The weather can be great. They say it's great on a great day, but it isn't everywhere. It can be lovely. There's not many people here, which makes it really, really easy to do things. As I said, a picture of Australia. So this is probably my favorite place in Australia. Who was it from Sydney there? It was somebody from Greg from Sydney. Greg, you might know where this is. This is up in Queensland. It's called a place called Noosa. I was there over Christmas time. This was a picture I took then. Lovely day, beautiful beach. I just absolutely love the beach and find that place fascinating and fantastic. The other thing that I love is playing football. Here I am, circled in the red, or squared in the red, with my football team. We're called the Grizzlies. It was a muddy day that day. I think it was close to the end of the season, and I do love playing my football and watching my football on the TV. And when I'm not doing that, basically, I'm running 52 Traders podcast, and if you've not heard of it, which it sounds like some of you aren't pro members or just haven't heard of it, I basically go out there and interview guys that trade the market successfully to find out what makes them tick, to find out not just what makes them tick, but to try and glean as much information from them as possible. I ask about their strategies. I ask about the indicators they use. I ask about the chart patterns they're looking for. I ask about books, education, knowledge that they've gleaned from other people, other things, and really dig into the detail around that. And look, it is a paid podcast. There are some free episodes. It's a paid podcast. It's $5, and you get access to the whole catalog, not just one interview, but all of them at the moment. Okay, so that's what I do. I do the 52 Traders podcast. I've got an interview coming up. It was going to be today, but it's now Saturday. And I've got one being launched this week. A guy who trades the DAX. So that's a bit about me. Right, so in today's show, I'm going to show you how to build this EA. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you the process of building any EA from scratch. Then the special kind of RSI indicator we'll use in this particular EA. Okay, so this is not your standard RSI indicator, as I mentioned before. And then I'm going to describe the full strategy behind this EA, so you'll know exactly how it works. And then how to build it in only 5 minutes without doing any coding at all. And that's basically using the EA builder that I talked about. And if you stay to the end, you're going to get to take this home completely free and use it on your own demo account, whatever you want to do. Live account, if you really wish, then you could use that on a live account. There's no restrictions as to the account type you want to use. You can back test it if you want as well. It's up to you, really. Okay, and then I'll show you 3 ways to potentially improve any EA's performance. So this could be for any particular EA. And then how to increase this EA's profitability by 27%. In actual fact, I've already done it. Okay, so it turns from that to that. Okay, it's not a lot of difference in the chart apart from smoothing out some of those edges there. And there's not really any curve fitting in here. There's no curve fitting, in fact. So the process, how do we build this EA? Well, I find it pretty simple. And for those guys who are experienced in MetaTrader and EAs, you might actually sort of understand the process already. But for those that aren't, what we do is we take a trading strategy, and I'm going to show you that strategy in a second. We then use an expert advisor builder or an EA builder, and in this case, it's called FX Dreamer, and there's a little shot of what it looks like and what the end result could look like. We build the strategy there, then we import it into our MetaTrader for trading platform. It could be MetaTrader 5. You can build MetaTrader 5 EAs on this as well. I just don't like using MetaTrader 5 at the moment, and also a lot of brokers don't offer MetaTrader 5. For example, I did one the other day for a guy who was using IG markets, and they've basically said that it's at least a year away, which to me means they're probably not going to do it. Okay, they're probably not going to make the shift to MetaTrader 5. But anyway, we built it, we got the strategy, we built it, we put it onto the MetaTrader platform as a plugin called an expert advisor. And then we've got our automated strategy, and this is what we run through. This is a report it generates when we run through a back test. Okay, and that was one of the older ones that I've done. And you could do either a full strategy where it trades like this one, or you can do one which just gives you a signal or prints something on the chart or sends a message to your phone, whatever it is you want to help speed up the process of trading, or stop yourself from doing silly mistakes, or whatever it is you want to try and automate. Basically, this is what this EA is going to do. So what's this special kind of RSI that I'm talking about? Well, basically it came about after interviewing one of my past guests. So this guy actually created this RSI, and his name was John Ehlers. And I interviewed him back in 2017. You can find it on the 52 Traders podcast. It's called the Laguari. I think it's Laguari. I don't really know how to pronounce it. RSI. Okay. And basically, it uses clever maths to warp the time coefficients of a traditional EMA filter. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, simplistically, basically it gives us an RSI with a quicker response. Okay, so it's not like, all the maths jargon and all that sort of stuff. It basically gives us an RSI with a quicker response in something that's more usable than a standard RSI, which I must say, a standard RSI is a pretty good indicator. Out of all the indicators on MetaTrader or any other trading platform, a standard RSI is pretty good. Okay, and basically this RSI, and I'm going to see in a second, gives you that sort of definitive buy or sell signal, essentially. It's ironic that it's called the Laguari RSI. I find that it's just the irony around the fact that it's got a lag in the title. I don't know. I found it a bit funny. Whereas it doesn't lag, and you could probably probably say that the RSI indicator typically lags itself. Right, so what does it look like? So here's it squared up with the standard RSI 14 period. So this is the Laguari, and I'm not too sure if you can see my mouse, but the Laguari RSI set at 0.95. And basically it's the top one here. And you can see there that it's hitting that top line, and it's just going flat. And then all of a sudden the curve slopes downward, and it keeps going downwards till it hits 0. So at the top it's 1, down the bottom it's 0. The standard RSI is just sort of, doing its normal thing, hovering between, I've got here the 20 level and the 80 level. Okay, so it's just hovering between those two. Not really doing a lot, not really telling us a lot. Now, the line here I've drawn vertically, the red line straight through, is when the Laguari just starts to shift away from that 1 and go a bit further down, sloping down. You see here the RSI, the standard one's just not doing anything. And then, so if we were to take a trade here and follow this down to a sell trade, for example, let's follow it down to the 50% point here, so it's 0.5. You can see that the price has actually moved with it and come down. Whereas here in the standard RSI, it's really hard to say that, okay, yeah, the standard RSI has moved slightly, but it's not dramatically moved south. Okay, so whether or not you take a signal here, it could go up or down, you don't really know. So anyway, that's sort of the difference between these two two indicators. The strategy. So what does that look like today? Basically, when the candle, so this is how it's going to work, right? So I might toggle between the previous slide and this one, I don't know. When the candle before has an L, so I'm calling it the L RSI for Laguari, equal to 1. So this is just for sell trades, and which we saw in that previous screenshot. And the candle after has one which it basically has an Laguari RSI which is below 1. Then we're going to sell. Okay, simple as that. Simple as that. And when that hits below 0.5, we're going to close our trade. Okay, or if it exits at a fixed stop loss or take profit, or if it hits a fixed stop loss or take profit, then we'll exit the trade. Okay, so there's sort of two ways we're going to exit, and the entry is pretty simple. Basically, when the LRSI is at 1 and then moves away from 1, then we're going to take the sell. And what we're going to do is do exactly the opposite for buys, but we'll just replace the 1 for a 0. So if it's at 0, then goes above 0, and then changes to below 0. If it's at 0 and then goes above, and we're just going to change above to below, below to above, based on the sell signal, it's going to give us our buy entry. So let's have a look at how this is going to play out in FX Dream. So I'm going to build this in under 5 minutes, right? And I'm going to do this in 2 seconds, because what I've done, and the easiest way to do this is to basically show you a video. Because I've tried to do these webinars before where I've done it all on the screen share, and I've got to say, it is a little bit clumsy. It does get a little bit laggy for you guys, and I don't want it to be laggy, so I'm going to actually play this video here for you guys. So that's going to start, and I'm going to build this for you in under 5 minutes and show you exactly how this is done. So guys, are you ready for this? Rightio, here we go, guys. 5 minutes. Let's get this thing done as quickly as possible. It might even take less than 5 minutes. Who knows? Right, so to start off with, I'm going to put in this once per bar block here, and then I want to only do stuff when there's no trade running. So we're going to grab this condition block here. So we've now got 3 blocks on there. I'm going to do the buy side. So I'm going to grab my indicator here. It should be in here somewhere. Wasting time here. 95 is the setting we're going to use, and we're going to say if it's equal to 0, then basically we're waiting for a buy. Okay, and if we quickly jump into our MetaTrader, we can see here that this is 1 and this is 0. So this is what we're waiting for, a 0. And the next condition is, oh, actually there's one more part to this. We want to do that 2 candles ago. Okay, so it's equal to 0 2 candles ago. And then in the last candle that's just happened, we want to make it equal to, we actually want to make it above 0. So let's go in here and grab this indicator again. Why is it so hard to find? Oh, there goes one that people might be familiar with. 95, and we're going to go is above 0. So 0 there, so it's above 0. I think that's all we need, and we're going to put the buy block on here, and we'll connect that up. And we're just going to add in these variables here, so our stop loss and our take profit, and go update. That's buy done. And to make it easier on ourselves, we're going to go copy and then paste and just reverse this for sell trades. Okay, so whoops, double click on this here, and we're going to say instead it's going to equal 1, and then here it's going to be below 1. And that should give us, actually I think we're missing something here perhaps. Yep, that needs to be 1 as well. Let's double check this one. Yep, that looks correct. Double check that, that needs to be 1. Okay, so I forgot that before. But we add in the sell block here, double click on this, and we put these variables in here again that you can change. You can change the stop loss, take profit, and lot sizes. That's the trade entered. Okay, so by now we should, on this trade, when it's 1 here, which we can see here on that candle, if the candle after it is below 1, then we're going to sell. Okay, so we're going to take that sell because we know that that candle's finished, and you can see here we enter the sell trade on the start of the next candle. Now, to close it at 50%, what do we need to do? Well, we need to say the trade's running. So when the trade is running, I'm just going to grab one of these blocks from here. We're going to say, in actual fact, we're going to say if it's a buy trade, we're going to say if it's below below 50%, 0.5, It's actually 0.5. Then, and we're going to do the current candle. Then basically we're going to close the trades. So we go and find that block as well. And we close the trades. We can say we're only going to run one trade at a time anyway, so we can leave that as is. And I'm just going to copy these blocks and change them around. This isn't even going to take 5 minutes, surely. And we're going to make that cells. And cells need to be above the 50. So we go above and just double check that that's the right candle. Yep. And then we're going to close those. Simple as that, guys. It's done. So this will now basically run this strategy here where you can see here it closed the trade when we got to the 50 mark. 48 it says there, so it's very hard to get it exact, but it would have hit 50, close the trade, open the trade there. I'm just going to hit start and run this so you can see a buy trade as well. So that's the sell happening here. And then let's have a look and see if we can grab a buy trade. There we go, buy and pause. Okay, so let's stop that. Have a look. So the buy, that was 0. We hit above 0. We entered the trade, and then we closed the trade here, which was 49. So it was around about the 50 mark. When in actual fact, it is the 50 mark. It's over the 50 mark. It closed the trade, and that one there was 62 pips on the 15-minute chart. This one here was 83. So some good trades here. Okay, this is back in 2012 even. Okay, so guys, that's basically how you build it. As simple as that. A few blocks here and there, and all of a sudden you've got this EA that will run on the MetaTrade platform and do what you've just told it to do. Okay, back to the webinar. All right, folks, hopefully that gave you a good idea, well, the exact idea of how you actually run this, build this EA, and then do a little bit of back testing on it. So that's sort of the process, pretty much done in 5 minutes. There are ways to improve the results of this EA. Okay, so that was essentially my first test run. I was like, oh wow, I've got a profitable one here, and it took me 90 minutes to go from woe to go to get to the first profitable version of it. And then it's an actual 5-minute build once I tried a few different strategies out and finally landed on one which was looking pretty good. But there's ways to actually optimize this even further. All right. So the first way is to add a trailing stop to each order. So with FX Streamer, this can be done with just one block. So you just add in one block, and you can trail it normally. You can trail at predefined targets or stops. For example, like if it hits 25 pips, then put the stop at 7 pips, or if it hits 35 pips, put the stop at 13 pips or something like that. Or you can do it completely dynamically by using something like an exponential moving average or anything else, literally anything else you could even come up with. Imagine you can pretty much make a trailing stop out of that. So you can also use different lot sizes after each win or loss. So this is common strategy that a lot of the other commercial EAs use. So with FX Streamer, there are 6 inbuilt sequences that you can actually run on any EA, and it's literally as simple as clicking a couple of buttons, or not even buttons, just clicking a couple of things on a couple of blocks, and you can get these 6 different sequencing methods. So this is Ryan Jones, Martingale, Dale Ambert, Betting 1326, LaBruche. I don't know how to say half these things, Fibonacci, and then you can also do a custom one as well. So this would be like, for example, Martingale would be the first trade we would enter would be 0.1 lots. The second trade would be 0.2. The third one would be 0.4 until you had a winning trade, and then you'd exit all the trades at a profit. So you could also do this sort of thing with this sort of EA to improve, or this EA or any EA to improve it. Then the other thing you could do is partially exit trades. So with FX Streamer, you can enter a 1-lot trade and exit parts of that trade depending on your rules. So you could close all the trades at a certain profit level or pip level. So if you hit 50 pips or $50, In profit, you had losing trades, winning trades, but your overall profit was $50. Close all the trades and get out. Okay. You could also do like an exit at 50% take profit. So move your stop into 25% profit and trail the remainder. That sort of thing is all easy enough to do with just a couple of blocks in FX Dreamer. Not that hard. All right. So how did I increase this EA's profitability by 27%? Well, 2 words. You optimize it. Okay, and those that are experienced will know what I'm talking about here. Those that aren't, will, it's something to learn. Okay, so I ran over 10,000 different setting combinations through MT4's optimizer on tick data and was able to increase the profit from the initial strategy by 20%. Overall, it took me, the way I do it is quite different, and I teach this in my course. It took me about, it ran for about 8 hours to get through the 10,000. But on normal tick data, if you did actual tick data, but I do a trick to get the tick data, then it's going to take you a lot longer. It'll probably take you maybe 10 days. Okay. This strategy could be further optimized by time of day and day of week. As I said, I built it earlier this week, so it's fresh off the conveyor belt. But I haven't even done the time of day, day of week. So you could look at those things, and there's a way you can do that pretty easily to filter out days and times where trade entries are just bad and they're never going to make you profit, or they're going to sit in a drawdown for too long, or that sort of thing. Okay, so you can do that as well. But you've got to be careful not to over optimize and avoid curve fitting. Okay, so curve fitting is trying to make a really perfect curve by getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't work. It's got to be logical. It's got to make sense. You don't want to go, oh, well, I'm just going to say don't trade on this day of the year because this is when the elections are. Although it's always good to turn your EA off over the elections, but I wouldn't, start to eliminate days of the year or something like that. So here are the results, and I showed you them earlier. So the first one, just running on 0.5 lots on a $10,000 account. I mean, the profit factor was pretty good as well here, I think at 0.19. But when I optimized it, I was able to keep integrity and increase that by 27% to 31,696, and a profit factor of 0.32. So it really did bump it up, and that was only on one currency pair over a 5-year period. So you could further optimize this on a shorter time frame as well. So for example, you could optimize it on over the last 6 months and get a strategy that might run for the next 6 months. You can see here back in 2000 and the early 2012s when I was running this, it didn't do so well, but it's really picked up speed going through the years, and here even better. Okay, so it's got robustness in terms of it's able to, it could be adapted for the current market conditions with a little bit of tweaking. Okay, so how easy is it to do this yourself? Well, if you're going to do this manually, right, it's going to take you weeks. So what I've got here is a chart. Strategy testing speed, weeks, days, hours, and then number of strategies tested along the bottom. So let's say there's 17 in total, right? So the first strategy is probably the first setting that I've given you today, all right? So that actual strategy, if you do every single setting, it's going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks to get through 17 of those, where I've done over 10,000 in a matter of 8 hours. If you learn to use MQL, right, okay, on week 1, or the first time you do it, it's, your learning speed for MQL is it's going to be slow, right? It's not as easy because you've got to learn to code and then you've got to learn to trade, which are 2 completely different things. Okay, so gradually you'll get better at coding with MQL, but it's going to be a lot of headache, a lot of farting around, and a lot of mistakes and learning. And gradually you'll bring that speed down when you can start to build robots that are, you can leverage things, and you start to get better at coding. You can start to get better at testing. And it's going to take you days instead of weeks to test these strategies, but the days are probably going to be spent building and getting that exact strategy you want, which is where you're going to waste all your time. Now, with an EA builder, it gets better, but to start off with, it is hard. It's not that easy to really understand how these things are built. They're all built differently, and they all sort of, I suppose, come with their own way to do things. And some of them are better than others. FX Streamer I've found to be the best by far, like hands down. It can do way more. It saves so much more time than all the others and is so much more flexible. And it's fast. It's so fast. That's the main thing. It's fast. It basically means that you don't need to, I suppose, spend a lot of time going toing and froing, making a change, testing it, making a change, testing it. I can do that really, really quickly with FX Streamer. Other EA builders I tried, it was clumsy, slow. It just took so much more time. Okay, so and that's what you want to be able to do, is you want to be able to test something, build something, test it, build something, test it, because that's how you get to know that your strategy is doing what you want it to do. Anyway, that's only part of it. The other part is the learning curve. So you're going to make some inroads, you're going to get to a plateau, then you're going to make some more inroads, get to a plateau, more inroads, get to a plateau, and gradually you're going to start to increase your knowledge to the point where you get down to where it's only taking you hours to build these EAs. And as I said, this one took me 90 minutes from woe to go. Like, I'm just going to lob this indicator on, see what it can produce, and then see if I can come up with a strategy from it. And lo and behold, it turned out to be great. When I started manipulating the inputs and changing a few things, I managed to get something that looks really, really good. Now, how do you avoid this? How do you avoid this? Well, basically, you need someone to teach you, because otherwise you're going to be left there on your own trying to get from where you are now, not knowing anything, to, or knowing a little bit after this presentation, to really sort of knocking your head against a brick wall to try and understand, you know, the EA builder. I started looking at EA builders maybe 9 years ago, and I just looked and gave up. It was like, this is too hard. I needed someone to walk me through by hand each and every single component, so I really understood how it worked and what I could do, and the limitations, the tricks, the techniques, so that I could be a lot more efficient and go straight into it. And so an EA builder with a course, I found guys can get up and start building EAs that are good, optimized EAs within about 4 weeks. Okay, so 3 to 4 weeks, some people are going to pick it up quicker than others, but it is really quick. Once you get on this road, I'll tell you what, it's revolutionary, because there's, you know, good news. As I've mentioned, I've put together this in-depth course that teaches everything you saw today and a whole lot more. And I'm going to quickly run through what that course is all about before I give you this RSI EA at the end of it. But it's going to save you months of frustration, as I've mentioned, with FX Streamer and MT4, might I add, because there is like a lot of, it's not just FX Streamer, it's MT4 as well, and how they work together. It's also going to give you confidence. Your EAs are ready for a live account. Okay, so a lot of people will just get an EA and chuck it on a live account and go, yes, I've seen someone's back test, or I did one back test. You need to have the confidence, guys, because otherwise you're going to give up. Okay, and you've got to have the confidence behind it. And it will save you from having to learn MQL. So a lot of people, and I've surveyed people, and their first sort of response is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to learn MQL. That's how I'm going to, automate my trading. Tell you what, I was in the same boat. I said, I'm going to learn MQL. And then I looked at it, and I know a bit of coding. I can code in, rough CSS, HTML, PHP. I did learn this thing called Cold Fusion back in the day, and I've got to say, MQL is completely different. If you're starting from scratch and trying to learn MQL, trust me, it's a headache you don't need. You're better off spending your time learning to trade as opposed to learning MQL. It'll mean you'll never need to hire another EA coder again. So even if you do come up with a strategy you think is worth building, it means you can test it out yourself. You don't need to hire a coder. And I mean, look, coders, they cost upwards of minimum $300 to $400 for a basic strategy. If you want something good, if you want somebody good, then you're going to need to pay a lot more than that, in the thousands. Okay, so and finally, it'll mean you never need to waste money on another hyped up EA again. And trust me, I tested back in the day. I used to test EAs, and I tested over 100 of them. And I can tell you that the guys that are selling EAs are doing it for a reason, right? They're doing this. This is what they're doing. They're basically building the EAs and then flicking them on, because they know that, okay, I can get an EA looking pretty good, and then I'll flick it on. You need to come up with an EA yourself. that you're happy to trade and that is your strategy and works with your psychology. So learning these skills is basically going to save you thousands of bucks, and also it's going to speed up. It's going to speed up the time it usually takes to do these things. So, for example, learning MQL, that's months and months and months of investment. If you have to hire a coder, you've got to wait for that coder to do the work, and then there's toing and froing. And I've heard horror stories. I've been involved in horror stories. It's 3 months, 6 months to get anything out the door, and then hyped up EAs. I mean, look, basically you're going to spend time testing, back testing, demo trading, waiting until you see the results, and before you get confident enough to put in a decent amount of money behind each trade. So when you join today, you're going to get an EA building and back testing course. It's called my Automate My Trading Lifetime Membership. And you're going to learn how to confidently build MT4 EAs that do exactly what you want. Okay, so exactly what you want. You're also going to get 15 ready-made EAs. You can import these directly into FX Dreamer, and this will save you days of effort, and includes all the EAs in my shop, which are currently valued at, I just did a quick calculation, it's $1,773 if you were to go and buy those individually. Okay, so you can import these into FX Dreamer, have a play with them, use them, enhance them, optimize them, do whatever you want. Historical updated data for 116 markets. So this is Forex, indices, commodities, metals, and stocks. And when I say updated, this is basically free forever. Okay, so you can update this data every single week with new data that comes in to optimize and test your EAs to make sure they're market ready for the next trading week. Software that gives you a 99% back testing results every time. So you're going to get a personalized license key to the software as well, plus 3 bonuses. So bonus number 1 is 10 proven trading strategies to get you started. Community access. So I've got a community, and I'll show you a picture of what the community looks like in a second. So this is in the community. There are new EAs added, new strategies added, things being added all the time. Then you're going to get 3 months FX Streamer subscription boost as well. So this is what the community looks like. The 3-month FX Streamer subscription boost gets you 3 months of full paid membership to FX Streamer. Now, FX Streamer does come with an ongoing, well, not an ongoing cost, but as a pay-as-you-go model. So if you can jump in and jump out of it, and it's about $8 a month if you commit to a year. You can commit to less. I find that the 6 month is pretty efficient in terms of a monthly cost. It keeps it under $10, and look, that's $10 a month. I'm paying that for some channel on my Skybox, which my wife watches, and I never seen her watch, to be honest. I don't know why I'm paying $10 a month for it. I keep wanting to cancel it, but anyway, we get it. It's $10 a month. So for less than $10 a month, you can be building your own EAs. And plus, because you're on this webinar, if you join in the next 48 hours, and in actual fact, I just checked my website and it's saying 3 days. So, hey, what the hey, I'll leave it up there for 3 days. So you got 72 hours. You'll also get bonuses worth $608. So effectively, you'll see in a second effectively what, but you're going to get a 1 hour session with me for $297. In that session, I have almost built full EAs for people. So if you've got an EA to build, then I can pretty much try and get as much of that done as possible. You can use it to as a session just to ask me questions about whatever, to help with problems you've got. I can walk through issues, etc., or you can use me to do whatever you want. Really, you can talk about the 52 Traders podcast and the guys I've interviewed if you really want. Plus, you're going to get 3 additional months on your FX Dreamer subscription. So that's not 3 months, but 6 months in total. So that's valued at $54. And 1 year, 52 Traders Pro member subscription. So for the guys that said they weren't Pro members already, you're going to get a full year subscription valued at $60. That means you're going to get to hear from 52, not just 52 new traders, but you're going to get 52 traders, and you're going to get all the other traders that I've interviewed, which is up in the 100. It's over 100 now. Okay, so you're going to hear hours and hours of strategies, education, insights from these traders. I mean, geez, I shouldn't be charging for $60 for this. I mean, this is ridiculous. But anyway, it's $60. You're also going to get the Liguari RSI EA full version, and I'm going to show you the difference in a second between the full version and the version the guys that are going to get on the webinar today. There's 2,744 profitable settings you're also going to get with it. So these are my optimized results. So I've done that. That took me 8 hours. You're going to get that in one go without spending any time. I'm going to give you those settings for the currency pair Euro US dollar. And that's going to be up in the shop for $197. So you're going to basically save that money there as well. So that's your $608 worth of value. Here's a screenshot of those settings. Well, I want to recap this for you guys just in case you're forgetting. So basically the course comes with, in the lifetime membership, this is lifetime one-time fee membership, comes with 8 modules, over 15 ready-made EAs that you can import into FX Streamer, 116 markets worth of historical data, software that gives you 99% back testing results every single time, 10 proven trading strategies to get you started. So if you haven't got a strategy and want to play with one, then I've got 10 of them. And you get access to the VIP community. Plus, you're going to get a 1-hour VIP session with me valued at $297. 6 months FX Streamer subscription. So that's your 3 months with a normal and plus another 3 for coming on board in the next, let's call it 72 hours. And then a 1-year 52 Traders Pro member subscription as well. And there's new stuff coming out for Pro members all the time as well. So it's not just videos. It's you get charts, you get audio, the audio recordings, you plug it into your phone. It's quality, guys. And you're going to get the Liguari RSI EA full version, and I'm going to show you the difference between that in a second. The total value of this, in actual fact, is well over that, $997. It's well over $997. It's $997 for the normal course, but with the bonuses, well, you could say it's in the $1,600s. Okay, so today it's only $697, and let's just have a look at your gift here. And before we do, so the full version, the difference between the full version of the Liguari and the webinar version is this. So you can see here in the full version, you're going to get this time frame changer. Okay, so you can actually change the time frame, and you're going to get the start time and end time. So you can actually change the time and that you want to start the EA. So if you want to start the EA like when London opens, or if you want to start the EA when if you want to start it when New York opens, or the Asia session, whatever it is, and then end it at that session, then you can do that. Or you can do it across multiple sessions and have it running on multiple charts with multiple different time frames. Or you can basically, if you take the course, you'll be able to add your time frames into it as well. You can also change your lot, stop loss, take profit, and the exit and the entry, sorry, the buy exit level and the sell exit level. So if you did want 2 exit levels that are different, or if you did want to change the exit levels from being 0.5 to something different, then you can do that. And then also the RSI level as well. So 0.95 is where I've set it at as a default, but you'll be able to change that in the full version to whatever you want to get a slightly different result. Now, guys, to get this free version of the EA, you're going to be able to change the lots, you're going to be able to change the stop loss and the take profit. So the other stuff is locked in at those figures over there. So you've got 0.5 for your exits and 0.95 for your entries. In actual fact, the time frame is locked in at 15 minutes, and that was optimized on the Euro US dollar. So to get access to the free gift, then all you need to do is jump onto the URL here. That's automatemytrading.com/LRSI, and that coupon expires, and there's going to be, okay, you're going to see a coupon there, right? You're going to see a coupon, and you can go and use that coupon in the shop, and you basically go through the shop, and there's a link there to the shop, to the actual page. Add to cart one item, and it's going to say $97, okay? And that coupon's going to take the $97 off for you, okay? You're going to get it for 72 hours, it expires, so you've got to do it quickly. All right, there's going to be a replay up of this where guys are going to be able to see this again and take that, and they've got to do it quickly. It expires in 72 hours, so you're going to plug that coupon in, and basically, once you plug it in, you're going to, what are you going to do? Once you plug it in, you're going to get access to the download of this free version, so the webinar version of this EA with those settings. There was an installation instruction, and there's also the Liguari RSI indicator as well. So you plug the indicator into your indicators folder, and that you need that to have to make sure the EA is running. Okay, right, guys. Have you got any questions? I've actually put a link up to the offer that I mentioned, the 48-hour bonuses with 608. There's a link up there on the side. So if you do want to take that up, then all you need to do is jump on there within the time period that I've got. And I've set it at 48 hours, but I think I've got 3 days on there on the site. So I'm going to leave it at 3 days. So you guys have got it for 3 days to take that offer up, to mull it over. If you've got questions, you can lob them in here in the chat for the next couple of minutes, or you can email me at cam@automatemytrading.com, or you can hit me up on the live chat on the site. So you'll see the live chat on the site, jump on there, ask your questions away, and we can get started. Okay, so guys, it's up to you. I'm just going to have another sip of my coffee. It's probably stone cold by now, but if you've got questions, chuck it in here. If not, then I'll stick around for probably 5 minutes just to answer any questions that come through, or a couple of minutes, and then we'll wrap up this webinar. That was needed. That was needed. Thanks, Rich. Pleasure having you on here again. It's a lovely day down here in Wellington, I tell you. It's an absolutely superb day after a couple of really cold summer days, 12 degrees. It was centigrade for those overseas. It was really weird. So lovely sunny day. I'll probably go and sit outside a bit. And I want to do these webinars regularly now. So I'm probably going to do these quite regularly, like maybe even weekly. Okay, maybe even weekly. And this EA here, it's only the start for this one. This is going to be optimized further by myself. I'll be chucking up results and progress in the members area and the community. We use the River platform. I keep calling it River. We use the River platform, which is basically it's a sort of co-working. I know a lot of people have used it in the past, this co-working tool. I think it's called co-working, but it's really good. It's really good. You get a mobile phone app, you get alerts. It's a bit like Slack. A lot of people know Slack. I've heard of Slack. But yeah, there's a lot of knowledge in there, and we've had some fantastic traders in there in the past. There's actually a Facebook group as well. Thanks, Gregory or Greg. Thanks for coming on board and watching the show. Okay, what does the 8-module course cover? Okay, it's actually in the link, but I'll tell you exactly what it covers. Probably best just to go there myself and find out. So basically, let's have a look. Oh, typing the wrong keyboard. Let me go to it on my own thing here. Right, so here we go. So first of all, we go over. Let's find it so I don't miss anything out. Where's my block gone with the course modules in it? Here we go. So the first thing we go over is setting up your MetaTrader 4 testing center. Okay, so basically what I do. Well, actually, let me go back to this person. Where is it? Sorry about this. Shiraz, right, Shiraz. So basically the first module is setting up, and I might actually screen share this for you guys so that you can see it on the screen as well. It's probably easier. Let's jump back into my webinar and do that. Right, let's just do this. Just going to go weird in a second. Okay, you can probably see that here now. So basically, module 1 is setting up your MT4 testing center. Okay, so basically what we get you doing is getting 99.9% back testing data. and getting that set up so that you can test your EAs on quality data as opposed to testing it on what your broker gives you, and that usually results in I suppose an EA that's not going to do the same thing when it goes onto the live market. Okay, so you want to make sure you're confident that what you're putting on the live market isn't based on the data the broker gave you and stitching you up. Module 2 is becoming familiar with FX Dreamer. So basically, this sort of walks you through how you can sort of jumpstart your education in FX Dreamer and know what's going on, where things are at, and how to use it. Module 3 is really going into the functions and details. So I go through literally everything. And this module is really sort of a jump in and jump out type of module. So if you want to do something specific, you can jump in and watch a module and then come out. So you don't need to go through the whole lot at once. You can do, but the other way to approach it is by jumping in, learning about something that you think is going to help solve your problem, and then jumping out and using it, and then jumping back in it and learning another thing, and then jumping out. So you don't need to go through this one all in full. Module 4 is building EAs and custom indicators. So I walk you through actually building a lot of these EAs in detail. So what you saw in this webinar today was basically a very, very quick and high-level view of building an EA. So there's a lot more to it in terms of what I didn't show you today in the webinar that really needs a course to walk you through. And so I build, I think it's 4 or 5 different EAs in this particular thing. There's a trend trading one, there's a price action one, there's a one that uses objects, there's a binary options one if you really want to do that, and then there's using custom indicators as well. How do you actually use custom indicators and build EAs off the back of that? How do you enter trades, exit trades, scale your exits, that sort of thing. Basically, it goes into all the detail, and you can download those EAs and use them that I teach in that particular module. You can use them on your own account if you wish, and you can actually play with them and test them out yourself as well. So that's where the FX Dreamer becomes really useful, because you can start sharing stuff with other people. Then the MT4 FX Dreamer testing and troubleshooting guide. So this is massive, all right? So testing and troubleshooting is massive in this gig of building EA. So there's ways to do it badly and there's ways to do it well. And I've done it so much that I teach you the ways that save you headache upon headache and teach you really how to do it very well. And then like things that you think should work that don't work, there's a way to test that and troubleshoot it so that you can get from A to B really quickly. Okay, and you're not wasting hours and banging your head against walls and all that sort of stuff. So it stops you from getting frustrated. Then there's optimizing EAs for tradability and profitability. So this is key. And I do this by walking through, if you're really at the beginning, the optimizer and how you can use it and read it and understand it. And then the main meat of this is really how you speed up. And as I mentioned earlier, how you speed up the optimization process so that it's basically becomes a instead of a 4-day, 10-day, you got to have multiple computers running at the same time. You can cheat it in a way that speeds it up astronomically. Okay, and you can get exactly the same results, or results that are profitable on tick data. So there's a video on how I do that. It needs a video, it needs an explanation. But this in itself is just going to save you so much time. And it's I'm quite proud of what I've done here. It's really unique. It's going to save you tons of time, and it can only really be done with this setup. All right. So with the FX Dreamer and the MetaTrader, using the setup, you can do it really easily. So module 7. Live trading and free virtual private server. So most people host the EAs on a VPS. So I get you going on a free VPS. So I'll walk you through how to set that up step by step. So you can get a free VPS basically. You don't need to pay Forex VPS or whatever it's called, $69 a month. You can get it for free, and then you can get it really, really cheap after that. Okay, so free for a year. You can get it free for a year. So live trading, walking you through live trading as well on these EAs and things to be careful of, be aware of. And then finally, module A is monetizing your new EA building skills. So if you are looking to try and not just use your EA, so come up with a profitable EA, right? That opens up the doors to all sorts of things, because people want to start to invest their money with you, and they'll invest the money with you, and you can become, essentially through a number of platforms, fund managers and that sort of thing. So this is essentially how you're going to monetize it. Other ways to monetize it is through, basically, you can monetize it through your skills that you've got. I mean, you can start helping other people build EAs and charge people for that if you want to do that. So there's a number of ways to monetize these new EA building skills that you've got. And on top of that, we've got the community, and I think did I touch on all the bonuses? So you've got the EAs that you're going to get. You've got the strategies, the subscription boost, and then, that was the last one I didn't have. So you get a copy of every EA I create in my live webinars. So as per this EA, right, where I created this one in the live webinar, and you've got guys who are now using the full versions of all the EAs that I've created in the live webinars as my members. So this one you get. Any other ones that I create in a live webinar, you're going to get in the members area. So that's it. Sure as. Hopefully that was useful. Guys, I think I've pretty much done my dash here. I don't think we're going to get many more questions coming. So thanks very much for coming on the webinar today. It's been a pleasure. It's been great. I look forward to doing some more of these in the future. So if you do want to come on board and get that offer within the next, what is it? Let's jump back in here. 72 hours, you're going to get $608 worth of value. So your $697 really jumps down to $89 from a value perspective. Okay, so I've pushed as much in as I can. So guys, click the link. There's an offer link on the side here to get to that page, or I'll flick a reminder email out as well, just in case you don't get it, to this automatemytrading.com/LRSI. All right, folks, I'm going to sign off from this webinar. Thank you very much for joining me here today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if I don't see you in the members area of automatemytrading.com, I look forward to seeing you on the 52 Traders podcast, where I'm on there pretty much every week with a new trader. And you can hit that up on iTunes or Android. You'll find me in the App Store there, and you can listen along to me interviewing these guys, revealing what they do and all their secrets. So I'm going to end this webinar now, but thanks, guys. Have a great day. It's been a pleasure.